Hello and welcome to a Talking Tale podcast. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined again by...
And I'm Hayden.
And today we're going to be talking about the tmnt 2012 Season 1 Episode 15, The Alien Agenda. So yeah, like always, if you want to get into the podcast, you can go over to Anchor, leave a voice message, text message. There's a Reddit thing that I put up every week talking about the episode, the community post on YouTube, as well as the YouTube video of the podcast. So yeah, what do you think about this episode briefly, Hayden?
Well, this episode, I really enjoyed this episode. This was a good one, like a really good one, and it felt so good. Like the animation, it was just it was hands down a really good episode, and I quite enjoyed watching this one this time. It was so well put together. Like it was just amazing throughout. There was no boring bits that I found boring. There was some cringy bits, but we'll get to that later. But it was just a good episode overall, and a really good one just to pick at. It was just really good to watch.
Yeah, for me, I'd say that it was a really... I like the fact that this episode really focused on the story and moving the Krang and the Foot Clan stuff a lot, especially like maybe them like working together, the whole Leo and Karai stuff. I thought like moving that in like a really good direction and like saying, oh yeah, this is where the show's going to be heading. I thought that was like a really good way of showing that side of things. But like you already mentioned, there are some cringy things that, well, for worse, they are still in this episode that, well, it really determines the quality of this episode at the time. Yeah. Okay, so in the beginning, we have Karai looking down on the turtles, find the Krang, but that is when Leo notices Karai and decides to simp for her and to take down all the Krang. What did you think of this scene?
Oh, this scene. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused at first. It's like, the foot? What's the foot doing here? Because we haven't seen the foot in a long time, so I was quite surprised to see the foot again.
It was only last episode we saw them. That's when we saw Karai last.
Oh, yes. Oh. Yeah, I'm... Excuse me,
It's been a long week.
What happened. It has been a long week, yes. It's been a long week. But yeah, we see Karai come in. She looks awesome. Like, she's awesome. And then, of course, she finds the turtles fighting the Krang, and I thought I was going to be spared from the Krang, but no, sadly not. But yeah, we see Leo and the boy and the turtles just fighting the Krang, and of course, Leo then sees Karai, and I have never seen this side of Leo before, and I was disappointed. I was actually watching this with my head in my hands and just thinking how the mighty have fallen. Like, originally it was Donnie, right? Donnie was like simping over April, and he's gotten over it. He's slowly but surely gotten over the fact that all of that stuff happened. But now my boy Leo is now going down the same rabbit hole, and just seeing how he's becoming more heroic in front of his brothers, defeating the Krang, whilst the brothers are fine and they don't need his help. And somehow he's trying to say that it's going to impress Karai. I'm like, Karai is the foot, Leo. You can't just impress the foot just by saving people. It's like, that's not what the foot does. But yeah, it was alright. It was a really good scene to watch overall. Like, love the fights, love the animations, and I'm going to say this quite a lot in this podcast today. The animations that I found in this episode were much more smoother and much more defined. Like, there was a lot more attention than other animations in the past, and I just found this really interesting. Like, the whole animations, how the characters move, were a lot more defined and crisp, and a much more smoother transition, and it was just a really good fight scene to watch overall. So yeah, this scene was a really good one to watch, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have to say that the animation, well, for me, I still feel like it's the same from the past few episodes, but I know that for me, at least, I can tell that there is like a big change in future seasons, but I don't know if that's more the lighting or the budget, but yeah, I can tell that there is like a big change in the animation, but I didn't really notice it too much in this episode. But then again, that might be like the quality of how we're watching the episodes that might have something to do as well. But yeah, but this scene, not to say that the Leo stuff. God, I hate it when this. Specifically, I'll say Leo is is much worse than Donnie, as I feel like maybe because it's maybe the first time that Leo has done something like this. But I think that because he's deliberately went out of his way to show off that he's better than all the ones, and just it felt like remember the Attack of the Mouses episode where Raph and Leo were attacking the Pearl Dragons instead of Donnie and Mikey. It felt like that type of scene. Oh god, that did not work well. Oh, anyway.
Oh no.
With the Krang, I know that you hate them, but do you prefer the blue suits or do you prefer the white suits for the Krang?
Ooh. I don't know why I have to think about this question because I hate the Krang, but I really don't know. I think the pink suits are...
What pink suits? There's only the silver ones, the blue ones, and then the humanoid ones.
Why did I say pink?
Do you mean blue?
Yeah, blue.
Okay.
I don't know where pink came from, but yeah, I think the blue looks much better on the Krang.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
say it just gives them more of like a spacey, fictional, non-fictional type feel to them.
Yeah. But still, I don't like the Krang. But that's the only positive I get from the Krang.
Okay, well after that we got Baxter, who's working on Zeva's legs, but they're not working. So that is when Karaya comes in and basically says that, oh, we should be looking out for turtles and all that, and Shredder says no. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was... It was kind of funny to see, like, just Cypher laying on the floor like a blobfish, just, like, lifeless. He's like, poor Cypher he just got the wrong end of the straw, you know? He was just got the worst mutation you could possibly get. Like, he's a fish. Sure, you can't walk and fight like a normal mutant would with legs that could breathe air, but it was just really, really sad to see him like that. I was like, oh, Cypher, where did you go wrong?
Yeah.
But seeing that as well. And of course, we saw Stratford working for Shredder's gang, and that was really cool to see. Like, because previous episodes, I've said, like, oh, it'd be really awesome if that Stratford joined up with the Foot Clan and the Shredder and all that, and now, of course, it's coming true, which is really awesome to see. And then, of course, I see Chris Bradford. Chris Bradford has a mustache.
You've only just noticed
I just have to point this out. He has a giant mustache, which I cannot let slide. It is ginormous. It is just there. He looks like an old man, and I don't know. I'm not. It's weird whether to keep it or not. It was just. It's right there in his face. It looks like an old man when he's laughing at Cypher. It was so weird just to see him like with a mustache. I'm like, does this work? I know his character's kinda fluffy and furry, but do you really need a mustache to go along with it?
Well, why wouldn't he have a mustache?
Good point. Unless he's grown it out, but hey ho, I don't know if he needs to go to the groomers sometime, or he does it himself. I don't know.
Where's the shredder?
Oh yeah, of course. It's like, Shredder, can I borrow your claw? It's like, why? It's like, I need a shave.
You have to say that. I mean, Baxter. I feel like he could have made the legs work, with or without. I mean, because no later on in the episode he does get the crank to make the legs work, but I still feel as though he could have been able to make them work. I mean, he was able to do the stuff with the mouses. I feel like that he could have done that. But also the controls, they were very big and very old-fashioned. They remind me of like did like no I feel like you might know what I'm talking about. Like about like 20, 30 years ago, there would be like remote control cars, and you'd have like one lever to control it, and it reminded me a lot of those like controls for like a
Oh yeah, the remote control cars.
yeah.
Like this with those, I remember that.
Yeah,
Those were good.
it was just gonna like give me
Those were
like
good
those
times.
type of vibes with the thing. Still useless, but
Yeah,
still.
yeah. I thought it was a claw machine, to be honest. It's got an claw machine. Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Hmm. So the audience right now is just like, what the hell are they talking about? But we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I guess that's good, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that we do have Leo and Rav fighting about cry and stuff like that. Who do you think was correct in this argument? As I feel like Rav was a bit more correct with this argument, but I would say that this argument, now knowing what I know about the whole show and everything, it does feel weirder to. I know it's hard to describe without spoiling anything. I really don't. It's just that knowing what I know, Leo is correct in the long run, but Raph at the moment is correct. But yeah, who do you think was correct?
To be honest, from a strategic and technical standpoint, I have to agree with Raf. Like, Raf was actually, in my opinion, correct. But Leo he's going down the rabbit hole, and he's learning about love. He's a teenager at the end of the day, so of course he's going to have a thing for females. I just didn't think it would be Karai,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's like, Karai is the opposite end of the spectrum to Leo. It was just, it was unexpected, to be honest. Like, it was very unexpected to see April and Donnie get together, but now Leo and Karai, like, she's a female ninja working for the Foot Clan. Like, okay, whatever floats your boat, Leo. Whatever floats your boat, mate. If you're into that, you're into that. But, geez, it was just very unexpected. But, yeah, I think Raph has to be correct in this situation. Like, she is the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't date the enemy. Like, she's gonna use you big time. She's gonna toy with you. She knows all your weaknesses, and you barely know a bit about her. And you're just gonna fail. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying it now. You're going to fall to the hands of the Foot because of Karai, and I can't let that happen. So Leo, you're wrong. Raph is right.
Oh, okay, so this is sort of one thing which I was going to bring up later, but has no one heard of Romeo and Juliet, where they, go out with the other side of the enemy and all that?
Yeah, Romeo. It's a Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, Capulets and Montagues. Oh my god, I can't believe I still remember this from English. But yeah. Oh my god, yeah, it definitely kind of feels like that. A Romeo and Juliet sort of vibe, like star-crossed lovers, and
Just
how
better.
they are from just better. But one's a turtle and one's like a badass ninja. So
What could go wrong?
yeah, what could go wrong? One family wants to kill the other.
Oh, that's
She's
normal
a human.
nowadays.
She's a turtle. Yeah. Normal?
Oh yeah, everyone wants to kill someone in their family at one point in their
Oh
lives.
yeah, I meant that, but I meant the turtle, and she's a human, you know.
I'll give it time.
Oh
Sadly, you know
jeez.
that's true though.
Uh, yeah, I just accepted that fate by now. So yeah.
But after that, we got April doing some schoolwork type thing where she has to send us some DNA, and Mikey wants to spit into it and make some interesting sounds. What did you think of this scene?
This scene was a bit funny, but a bit weird at the same time. It's like April's doing her homework in the lair, which okay is alright, but you could do it at home instead.
Mm.
But I guess she feels more comfortable in the lair with the turtles. I guess could be a sign of friendship or something else. No idea. But then, of course, she talks about the Geno project and how she's going to find out what her ancestors were, which is pretty cool. But we then find out it's something bad towards the end, but that's further down the line. Um, it was quite funny for Mikey to get in the conversation and just say, "Oh wow, school sounds awesome." It's not, Mikey. Just don't, Mikey. Don't. School's not awesome, mate. But anyway, I digress. Um, and then of course he comes along and says, "Oh, what's DNA?" And then of course Donnie, being Donnie, goes into Donnie mode, as I like to call it now, just talks about the most complex stuff known to mankind. And then, of course, he actually learns from his mistakes. He actually
Does he though?
says, well, he said to Mikey, "Why am I still talking to you?" Like halfway through the sentence. And then, of course, Mikey says, "It's like, oh, I thought you'd learned by now." And of course, that's quite funny to
Yeah.
me. It's like, I was like, yep.
I guess it's.
And it was
I
so funny.
I do guess in like some sort of way you can sort of relate where basically you should not really ask any questions about turtles because you know they're just going to get some really weird answer and rethinking the whole show.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. I thought the scene was okay. I did find quite a bit of it funny. I would say I did find the splitting noise. I thought it was like a little bit disgusting. I would say, but at the same time a bit funny. But yeah. Then after that, we do have a Leo and Karai talk about how Karai shouldn't come after his brothers, and Karai's still going to do that, and they have a fight. What did you think of this scene?
That was that was um that was weird. Like I've got three words to describe this: awesome, weird, and cringe.
Oh,
Alright, hear me out, hear me out, hear me
okay.
out. One, it was awesome because the two are fighting again. Of course, the animations, the setting, the scene was actually really well choreographed and really well set out, which I quite liked.
Mm.
Like they paid so much more attention in this one than compared to other episodes. Like I don't know if it was funding or something else, but I just found the animations were much more smoother, more defined, and just a lot more attractive to the eyes. You know, like they look better to look at than some others. But that's just me. So, but of course they're fighting, and that's pretty cool. 'Cause the fight scenes, I just love the fight scenes. Any fight scene, I just love it.
Yeah.
And then of course they're talking about how Raph doesn't trust her and that he shouldn't trust her either. And that is one piece of advice that I actually agree with Raph to Leo. It's like, you shouldn't trust her. She's bad news. There are hundreds of thousands red flags flying on this girl, and you still want to go for her. If I could tell Leo right now, it's like, Leo, don't do it. It's gonna break your heart. Like, don't do it. She's gonna betray you. she's gonna use you, and then she's gonna run away. And I just wish I could just scream down the screen and just say that to him. It's like, Leo, don't.
Yeah.
He learns the hard way, so he learns the hard way, but he just learns the hard way.
Unlike Donnie.
Unlike Donnie, he's still chasing, still going, but yeah. But apart from that, it was alright. And then, of course, the weird and the cringe parts in which they were, like, talking, like, you can tell from their language, like, it was a bit like love-hate sort of thing, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, like, it's like, Leo is talking this way, and then Karai's talking this way, that you could just tell what's going to happen. It's just that it's the love-hate relationship. Like, it's like the yin and the yang, the dark and the light coming together. It was just, I'm not too sure what to say about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I can understand where you're coming from with that. So the first thing which I want to mention about this whole scene was when Karai jumped away. She jumped on a few different buildings to get onto another building, but then the next scene we see Leo just jump across. So I don't know how that happened with Leo. But then you mentioned you've done your whole thing about the 3 words to describe the scene. For me, I'll say I'll give 2 words to describe the scene: pointlessly cool. And the thing is, I thought the fight scene, Leo looking up his brothers, Karai doing her stuff, I thought that was like really cool, really developing the characters, showing their relationship with each other, stuff for the future stuff, and I thought that was really cool. However, for most of it, it just felt a bit pointless. I mean, Karai just was there just saying, "Oh, yeah, I want to kill you," and all that, and then she just jumps down and starts getting, and then just start talking a bit like flirty, and I feel like what they were doing and what they were saying was contrasting the things, and I don't think it worked really well, but I enjoyed the conversation and I enjoyed the action. I just don't think the two worked that well. But yeah. But then after that, we got April, who goes to the school to collect her DNA results, and that is when she comes in contact with Miss Campbell, who's revealed to be a Krang, and that is when April has to run away from her and get some help. What did you think of this scene?
Well, this scene was really weird. Like, it gave me such weird vibes coming from this. Like, just walking in, she's looking at the wall and she said, "Come with me." And it was weird because I was trying to understand why she kept saying it. It's like, okay, she's a robot. And I was like thinking in my head, please don't be a Krang. Please don't be a Krang. Please don't be a Krang. But to be honest, it was just really weird. And how she grabbed April and was like, "Come with me." That was like some horror. Like something from a horror movie right there. And of course, April gets thrown across the room, and of course and Miss Campbell tries to punch her. And of course, thanks to Master Splinter, she learns some moves, and that was pretty cool to see her moves finally being used in like real life situations, which is pretty cool. And of course, I don't think if she had been taught that move, I don't think she would have lived.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you understand, like her face would have been all over those trophies, and I don't think that would have been a pretty sight. But overall, that was pretty cool to see. And then, of course, she's running through the halls of the school and trying to hide from her. That is some, like, backrooms type vibe.
It gave me, like, backrooms. I mean, for me, I put down my notes, it, like, gave me, like, Terminator type vibe. I know that I've only seen Terminator number 2, but, like, it still gave me that type of character would be doing that type of thing.
Yes.
Or just, like, some, like, horror type thing. I've definitely read the eyes helped, really.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good. Terminator. Yeah, Terminator does the same thing, hunts down his prey. And of course, the backrooms, which is like a major horror / thriller thing going around, where people are just in these rooms and they're running away from something. and these rooms go on forever and ever and ever, and of course they catch up to the creature or monster, whatever that's trying to catch them. But yeah, that just gave me backroom vibes, just heavy backroom vibes. But Terminator 2, now seeing it, actually kind of reminds me of. Now you got Terminator stuck in my head. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, for me, I'd say that so one, Miss Campbell could not have been any more of a Krang. Like, just the whole way she was talking, her voice sounded like one. She just could not have been any more of like one. But when Miss Campbell did throw April into the glass cabinet, I don't think April should not been able to get up that quickly, just because that was like a real powerful slam into it. So again, unrealistic.
Unrealistic.
It's,
He would have been thrown through the glass and the wall, unrealistic,
I just realised, I think like we might have said it's unrealistic like every single episode. It's just basically like our motto now for the podcast.
Yeah, unrealistic, yeah. We'll have like a count of how many unrealistics we've said in the podcast.
Oh, let's face it, everything's unrealistic.
Each one.
And
yeah,
we're just here to point it out a bit more.
Yeah, we're just here to
point the obvious.
Rip it apart a bit more.
But yeah, after that we got a really crap joke from Mikey about having a piece of omelette. Mattel's getting a text about going to see April because of an emergency, and that's when the Turtles fight Miss Campbell and was able to win. What did you think of those two scenes?
The first scene, I quite liked that one. I really laughed at that one because omelette pizza or pizza omelette. Like, I was very curious. I was very curious about this because, one, there is actually a pizza omelette.
Is there?
Yeah, there is an actual omelette pizza. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's something going around on TikTok at the moment, and there are actual people making omelette pizzas.
A part of me was...
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the thing is, part of me wants to try that because it sounds interesting, but at the same time, that sounds so disgusting. I'm a bit speechless, really, for this.
Yep, that's what I thought. As like, oh my gosh, they predicted the future.
Oh my god.
It's a genuine thing. If you don't believe me, look it up.
No. I mean, the thing is, I do believe you because that does sound like a thing that they would do, but how the internet does and all that. But I'm just not too sure.
Somehow they got like the egg. Like, there's too much egg, but it's a pizza at the same time. I just don't get it. But we're just talking about cooking now. But yep.
1,000 likes in the podcast. We'll do. I'll do a mukbang.
Yo, that gets if this gets 1,000 likes, we'll do it.
Well, I'll say we've got at least a good 20 plus years until that happens, so we're in the clear for now.
Yeah, we're in the clear. But yeah, that was quite funny to watch as well. Just the pizza omelette thing, that was just weird. That was just so weird.
What do you think of the emergency joke about the old lady taking April and not thinking this is an emergency?
Oh yeah, that. I was like, I would be the same in that situation. I would be like, is it really an emergency? Is April seriously getting attacked by an old lady? Like, if I was one of the turtles, let's say Donnie, and I was looking at my T-phone, I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, but do I go save her or do I just let it happen? Like, even Donnie's like complaining whether to save his crush or not. Is like, seriously, April? I know I want to save you and all, but seriously, this is just bad taste. Come on.
It also reminds me. Listen to that because I haven't seen this episode in like 2-3 years. So I forgot most about this episode. And when I heard this bit, I was like, oh yeah, that's quite funny. And it reminded me a lot of the scene from Spider-Man 3, I think it is, where it goes, like one of the Spider-Man movies, I had to be an old lady with a stick to get these eggs or something.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, what did you think of the Turtles versus Miss Campbell's scene?
That was awesome. That was a really awesome scene to watch. Very creepy though.
Mm.
Like when she just snapped her head around just like instantly, something from like a horror, Chucky, something like that. I just like, oh, I just my I got shivers down my spine. Just the instantaneous neck snapping, you know.
That doesn't really sound like you, just because I know that you like The Walking Dead and all that, and that doesn't really sound like you,
Yeah,
really.
I know it's weird. Like I love that sort of stuff. It was just unexpected. I think it was just because it was unexpected, you know. Like I love the horror stuff. I just absolutely love it, but it was just like, and how her voice and how her mouth got so wide when she said April O'Neil. That's just like, yeah, but that was just so weird. But if I was a kid watching that, I would be terrified. I'd just have nightmares. But I like it. It's good. And just the scenes in general. Like I said, the animations were better in this one. Someone actually took the time to do the animations really well, which hands down to the animator, good job. But yeah, just seeing them fight and how they could attack Miss Campbell, and somehow she's got rockets in her elbows, which I found funny. Like she could just pop them out and then pew, like you got missiles coming from absolutely thin air. I'm like, okay, unrealistic, but you know, she's a robot from a different dimension. She's got tech that we have no idea. But yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so so why does the school need a security alarm? I know that schools do, but like nothing like that, because April didn't have the alarm go off, so that seems a bit strange for that. And then okay, so why was the turtles out during the day? Because in episode 6 with Metalhead, they wouldn't go up to the Krang base because it was daytime. However, here they'll go up because it's April. That just seems a little bit sus in a way. And then also Miss Campbell being a Krang, I do want to just like how many other teachers are Krang as well. It's all like giving me vibes of have you seen the trailer for the Secret Invasion yet?
Secret Invasion.
Oh, well, anyway, but you know the Skrulls, they're basically taking over the world, and they're taking...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It gave me, like, that sort of vibe, and I'm sort of wondering now, like, how many more, like, Krang and stuff like that.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, no. Oh, you've just set me off on a conspiracy theory and a massive rage right now.
Yeah, but it's not...
Krang everywhere. I can't accept that. That's not gonna happen. The Turtles are gonna find a way to destroy these things.
I mean, like, sad about it is that, like, this could be, like, a really interesting story, like, storyline or something like that, but they could really explore about, oh, who is an actual Krang? Oh, maybe April's a Krang, maybe Shredder's a Krang, maybe Karai's a Krang. You know, they could do all these type of things, but they never do anything with this idea, as this is a really good, interesting idea. Oh, who is an actual Krang, and stuff like that, but they never really expand on this idea, and I would say that's, like, a really big missed opportunity.
Oh my God, real life Among Us.
Also, when Mikey says, "Oh yeah," because he says, "Oh, Mikey, water fountain," and Mikey goes, "I know, right? School has everything." That sort of made me a bit jealous because our school or our previous school, we didn't really have anything like that. You know, when if you look at the American schools in like movies, TV shows, they always have them, and while I was a little bit jealous of that our school never had it, so.
Yeah, we didn't have much then.
Still don't.
Yeah, still don't.
And then also, why isn't the Krang? I know that Miss Campbell is a different type of Krang where she doesn't really have a Krang inside her, as more of an android. But why aren't more Krang like her? Like being a challenge and stuff like that. Like all the other ones are pretty easy to take down, but her she was really hard, and I thought that was a bit weird.
Yeah, like the Krang seriously got an upgrade. That's the only positive I'm giving them this episode. But yeah, the Krang got a major upgrade.
Mm. I also like the when Mikey puts on Miss Campbell's face and Ralph gets a bit scared.
Oh yeah, I like that one too. That was pretty cool. I like that.
So then after that, the Turtles go over to the Geno building. Donnie has an app for breaking into a door, which doesn't really actually need the app thing. But Raph decides to break in his way. My only note I got here is that he broke Donnie's app.
Yeah, that was kind. I like that. That scene did make me laugh a bit. It's like, oh, I've got an app for that for you. Bush just kicks down the door.
It remi-
Like,
oh, what, you was about to say something?
nah, like no one's business.
It reminded me a lot in the 2003 show, near the end of the first season, they're breaking into Shredder's building, and basically the password changes I think it's like every hour, half an hour, or something like that. So everyone's trying to find a little password for it, so Raph just runs up and kicks it. It reminds me a lot of that. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going to go at this point. They're basically the same scenes, really. Um,
Mm,
so that's when the Turtles get into the building and see that the Krang have lots of DNA. But then Raph starts to fight Karai. I'm not gonna lie, I thought like this was the best fight in this episode. Raph versus Karai, I thought was just perfect. Really, I like how they're both skilled. Karai was hilarious in the scene. But yeah, do you have anything to say about this one?
that was. I'm not gonna lie. I have to agree with you. Karai and Raph, like they give off the same energy.
Yeah,
Like it's weird. Like they somehow connect, but not connect is in a way like Leo and her connect.
yeah.
Like they actually want to kill each other. That connection, you know. Like they want to fight to the death, and their energy is just on another level. Just how Karai and Raph want to kill each other, and of course, I like where Karai says, "It's like, oh, is this the mutagen? I wonder how it works." And of course, Raph then says the best line in this episode. It's like, "Oh, get a bit closer, then I'll show you."
And I,
That was the best line.
And I was like, a few other ones for Karai, so, but that one when she was leaving, saying, "Oh yeah, and I betrayed you. How messed up is that, right?"
Oh
uh,
my gosh, that is the best.
or there was one where like, Raph goes, "Oh yeah, she's gonna betray us," and Lou goes, "Oh no, no, she won't." Then Karai her head pops in and goes, "Yes, I will." I just thought she
Yes.
was just hilarious in this scene.
Oh, that was just like a meme waiting to happen. It's
Yeah.
like she's gonna betray us. It's like no, she won't. It's like yes, I will. Oh, that was just funny. I really did enjoy that. That was just so funny to watch.
Well, after that, we do have Leo pressing the button and all the DNA going into the thing to create Justin. Um, okay, so quickly before we do, okay, how did Justin actually become a real thing? Because all the other times we've seen like a animal get mutate or a person get mutate, but here it was just the mutagen with the DNA. There's nothing really there to get mutated into. Or am I just being a little bit stupid here?
Um, to be honest, I did not know how this worked either. Like, I know you got all the DNA, but usually when the mutagen happens, like someone had to be touching something living in order to become that mutant.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
I mean, there's nothing there to be
unless this
mutated.
Yeah, unless this is like a new type of product of mutagen that the Krang are somehow making now. Like maybe they got an upgrade as well on the mutagen, who knows? But I was so weird. It's like, what the hell? And then of course, this thing who is Justin, I just want to take one moment just to call this out. Justin? Seriously? Like, Mikey, what in the shell happened to your names? They used to be good. Cypher was Chris Bradford is
Dog Pound.
Dog Pound. Thank you. I lost the words there. Dog Pound, and of course you got Rat King, and then of course you got all the good names.
His name.
Oh no.
His name is Snakeweed, Spiderbites, Dog Pound, Metalhead, Leatherhead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's named such good ones.
What would you name him?
And
Ben?
now, well, he's got Octolegs. He's got.
Did he say otter legs?
Octopus legs, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Octopus legs. So I was going like Octopunk or something along those lines. But Justin is like, Justin. It's like, oh my god, Justin's attacking the city! Quick, we gotta go save everyone. And then you come up to see Justin, and he's like he's about a 40-foot giant abomination, and you're like, yeah, I'm not fighting that today, Yeah, I'm not fighting that thing from hell, I'm just gonna go back to the lair. I'll see you guys in a bit.
You have to say about Justin, I'd say he has a cool intro with the tentacles coming out, taking out the Krang in the mist. I thought that was really cool. However, Justin in general, with his powers and his looks, I just don't think he was that cool. I don't know. It was weird, and I don't know how to describe it. I just feel like he should have been cooler. I mean, especially with all the power or all the DNA that he got. He had like snake venom, the body of like jellyfish or something like that, octopus legs, a cat's little meow. He has so much potential to be better.
Yeah, he has so much potential, and to be honest, I thought he was cute when he did the meow. I was like, oh, it's a cute little thing. It's like, oh, he's harmless, And then of course he mutates. I'm like, what the? And he's just grown. His stomach rips open. I'm like, how the hell is this thing even, still alive?
Yeah.
And then, of course, can we just take a second to Mikey's reaction to the DNA of the cat?
Oh.
What was that all about?
What was him just going, ah?
Yeah, just screaming like a little girl.
I think it's a small false humour thing, but for some reason, that bit there works. Whereas I don't know. I think it's because I was in the right mood to enjoy it. I don't know why, but like the omelette joke I thought was crap, but however, that one was, for some reason, in the span of like 5 minutes, I was able to change my mood and enjoy it.
Yeah, somehow I got something out of that too. It's like he's screaming, maybe because he loves cats and they took the DNA from the cats, or he doesn't like cats and it's going to turn into a cat and he's going to fight his worst fears. But that was that was funny.
I got a really dark theory. What if it was the DNA from the cat that he saved in episode 4? Moving on?
Oh my... Okay, give me a sec. My conspiracy brain's going off at the moment. Before my brain explodes, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so after that, there wasn't really too much. They burnt down the building. Yeah. But
they just burned down the building, just sitting there, just watching the world go by. The building's up in flames, We're just gonna bypass the fact that they caused arson, property damage, and a whole load of other stuff.
Breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering, They're just burning down in a building in New York City, and just, it's just another Tuesday afternoon for them,
Sadly, yes.
Why am I not surprised?
But yeah, after that, Leonardo explains everything to Splinter and to the rest about Karai. And that's when they do make a really good joke. Or Mikey, Splinter says, sorry, you're not the first toad to have a crush on the enemy. And I do like the bit where Mikey goes, oh, what about, do you mean Donnie? And I don't know if that was like a real subtle nod to the fact that everyone knows, even Splinter at this point, and maybe in April. But I gotta say, why didn't April react to it? But still cringe. A little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like everybody knows that Donnie loves April and he's head over heels for her. Like everyone knows, and of course even Splinter now knows. Like it's not it's obvious. It's so obvious how Donnie just reacts to April, like in the school scene. Going back to the school scene
You can do
with
it.
Miss Campbell. Yes, I can do it. Miss Campbell, and of course she comes out and she nudges him a bit, and of course he's bright red in the face, and of course he wants a hug, and then of course just he then goes to the head tap, like just it was like I'm not gonna lie, it was like Donnie, mate,
I liked April's
if in
reaction.
doubt,
Oh, I did like April's reaction to that. Like, if you specifically look at April's face, I thought it was just amazing and just so funny.
her reaction was priceless.
Yeah.
It was just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. And then Rav goes up to Leo and says basically he's so sorry and understands why he has a thing for Karai. Do you think Rav might have a crush on Karai as well?
Ooh, that's another thing. I think he was trying to prompt it because he said, "Oh, she's pretty hot too. Like anyone would fall for her," and I'm like, "Oh, is Raph going for her as well? Is it like I understand they have the same energy and that they want to try and kill each other, and of course him saying that Karai is hot, it sets off things in my head which I don't understand. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know how to answer that.
I mean, I was just wondering, like Rav says, like he can understand how how someone finds her attractive in an evil type way. To me, that sort of just sound a little yes, but at the same time, it could be more things of I'm just taking things out of context in a way. But I feel like it's one of those things where you can more or less look at it and however you really want to, and whatever one you want could be correct, could not be. So yeah. But then for the final scene, we do have Karai returning with a Krang body and gives it to Baxter, who's able to use the Krang. And Shredder says, "Oh yeah, we need to learn more about the Krang." What did you think of this scene?
This was all right, but I was just loving how Cypher's still flailing around like a headless chicken, and of course Chris Bradford just laughing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dog Pound just laughing it up. It was just funny. And then of course she comes in, she just drops the corpse of a Krang on the table and says, "Oh look, found the Krang." And of course Shredder comes in, her father, which I'm still trying to get over the fact that she is her daughter, and it was just madness trying to still get over that. But overall, just seeing him come over and said, "All right, we're going to use this technology now, and we're going to see if we can use it to benefit us and the vendetta towards the turtles," which is pretty cool. And then, of course, Karai's praised, and at the end, that smile, that sinister smile of getting praised by her father was just, I don't know what it was. It was really weird just to see it,
Yeah.
just to see her smile like that.
Mm. I mean, the one thing which I like this one because this is a big one, which I'll definitely say that as well as like the telling everyone about Karai, sort of like setting up that whole thing and everyone's on the same page and that whole stuff's gonna be moving forward. But I do like Shredder like saying, "Oh, we need to learn about this," just because it feels like in a good way that they're definitely pushing the two big villains of the show together and making them into one big threat and stuff like that. And I do think that works really well. The one thing which I don't really understand, because you do see Baxter picking up a neural button thingy that Krang uses, and the one thing which I don't really understand is how Krang is able, because I have like 3 buttons, how is Krang able to press one of them and how to move a single individual like left finger, or on his left hand one finger, while also moving his right hand? I don't understand how he's able to do that from one button. Or is it just like the neural thing? I'm not too sure at this point, really.
Yeah, we just leave the science up to the universe now. We don't just say neuro, whatever tech. It's like other stuff, DC, Marvel. They just say nanotech, you know.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it up to that.
But yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this episode, or should we move on to the other stuff?
I just got to say this episode was just a really good one too. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this episode. It was just so much better. The story wasn't boring. It just kept going. Scene after scene was just perfect. And overall, just really someone spent time and effort on this episode, which I absolutely love. So overall, I got to put it in my top 10.
Okay, yeah. I'll say this episode, I felt like it was really good. Like, lot of this episode, which I did really enjoy. The Cry versus Leo, Cry versus Raph. There's loads of good stuff within this episode, and I do really like how this episode was definitely moving the story forward in a really good and natural way. For the most part, I'd say, with the Krang and Shredder working together maybe in the future. So yeah, I thought there was like a lot of good stuff. A little bit of simping at the beginning, but luckily most of that was at the beginning, so we didn't have to suffer most throughout the whole episode. But yeah, overall this episode was really good, and definitely would say that was also in my top 10 as well. Okay, yeah, so sadly this week we didn't get any comments for this episode. I'm not too sure if it was when I posted the episode or if people don't like this episode, but we didn't get any comments on Anchor, YouTube, or Reddit. So I'm not too sure what went wrong there.
No comments at all?
I can make up some comments if you'd like me to.
Not even the person who I will not say their name?
Yeah, I mean, like, even the regular Freelance Wolf, he didn't even comment, so I'm not too sure what went wrong there.
Something must be up then.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Once again, we're out of the loop. Well, one thing that is here is the trivia. Don't want to hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on from social to antisocial.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the first episode appearance of Miss Campbell. I don't really see how that's trivia, does.
That's not really trivia because she's dead now. So moving on.
No, she's a Krang droid, so there'll be more.
Yeah.
Miss Campbell's not actually that bad.
She's actually good. She's actually the only one good Krang that I like.
Yeah.
That's the only positive I'm giving them today.
Really? That's the only positive?
The Krang is the Krang.
Yeah, and I'm me. And you're you.
Yes, but the Krang is the Krang.
And? Like I've mentioned...
They're pieces of gun in tin suits, alright? They're just the Krang. You can't get anything more than that. They're just Krang.
Like I mentioned in a few episodes ago, Krang lives matter.
We're not doing this again.
Okay, moving on. Okay, so Miss Campbell was the first female robot Krang droid to be introduced in the series, as well as to have the first separate identity. I wouldn't really say she has much of a separate identity, really. She just looks different and has a different name. Yeah. April School was shown for the first time. Again, I don't really see how this is... why is this appearing in the trivia? This
isn't really much trivia. This is like different
useless
scenes
facts.
and yeah.
The motto for April School appears on a sign outside the building, and on the floor in front of the entry, it reads "Atud disc atu decide," which is Latin for either learn or leave. Donatello uses the blade in his staff during the fight with Miss Campbell, which is the first time which he's been shown using it while fighting successfully in combat. On Torpedo, the word "successfully" is in bold. Shredder's threat to remove Stockman's legs may be a nod to his first punishment in the 2003 show when Baxter had failed him. Oh god! Oh yeah, that's another thing you might enjoy. Just because in that show, every time Stockman would fail Shredder, he would lose a body part, and it was
What?
And it almost became a running joke on the show for a character who had no legs.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one time he lost his hand, another time he lost his eye, legs, and then it got to the point where he was just a brain in a jar.
Oh my god, poor Shredder. I kind of feel bad for the guy.
No. This was Baxter. Shredder did all that to Baxter for every time he failed him.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that might be like a really good way to really show the contrast between the two shows and just how kid-friendly they can be.
That is some dark stuff. Jesus, that would never get past British television. Jeez.
Oh no, you'd actually be surprised with it. Actually,
Oh, please tell me that did not air.
no. Of course, it aired everywhere in the world. But the whole thing with Baxter that happened happened very early in the show, and that became a big thing. But in one episode, I know I've shown you this clip before, where do you remember I showed you a clip where Baxter lost his jaw because April kicked him in the face?
Oh yeah.
Well, the funny thing about that episode was the fact that when I was making it, it got banned everywhere in the world, and you could only watch it online or if you bought a DVD. However, in the UK, they showed it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was back in 2006. But everywhere else, you had to wait till it were online or the DVD, and it took 10 years for the episode to actually get broadcast in America. But in the UK, we was able to get away with that.
We were just fine with it. Let's just see some guy's skull or mouth just get caved in. Let's teach our youth properly.
That's not even the
on
weirdest
how to
part, though.
dislocate someone's jaw.
That's not even the weirdest part, because in the 80s, or like 80s, 90s, in the UK, they banned the word ninja, and it was called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. They banned the nunchuckers, but yet they somehow kept the size and swords in the show. So
What?
Yeah, this show has always been one of those really fascinating properties, and I'll definitely have to say that it's a time capsule of the decade and or even the year that the show come out. So 2003 show that really shows off was more darker emo and sort of emo, more serious, and we wanted that in our shows. 80s we didn't really mind what we had. 2012 was let's go a bit more but serious and whatever. And Rise is just Teen Titans Go, but with Harley Quinn type humour.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah.
The different generations, eh?
Yeah. We grew up in the best.
Yep.
Okay, so getting back to it. When trying to name the super mutant Justin, the writer Kenny Berlin decided to call him Justin after one of the production assistants, Justin Nix. I must admit that would actually be quite cool to have either your mutant or villain, or even your name put in the show. I thought that would just be really cool to have.
Wait, so Justin is someone's name that got put in the show?
Well, Justin's a really common name, so it's not really that.
Oh,
yeah,
that would have been cool. Like a fan's name got put as one of the villains. That would have been awesome.
Well, I guess you could, I guess some of the human characters, or I guess most of them, you can say oh yeah, I'm in the show because of my name and all that. So
Yeah, you could brag about that, you know.
yeah, but it's not really much of a bag. It's just more of I I just got very lucky that my name was in that show. I mean, to get very lucky to have your full name in the show, but well, yeah. Okay, so there were some errors in this episode, and surprisingly, there's actually quite a few. Okay, so for the errors in this episode, when Karai tells Shredder about seeing the turtles fighting alien robots, she first describes them as some guys in suits. However, the Krang droids were not wearing suits or any kind of human disguises when Karai saw them the turtles fighting them in. Zeva is listed as his mutant name in the end credits, but he does not receive the nickname until a following episode, or an upcoming episode and all that. In the beginning of the episode, he retained the small mouth animation, and in the later episode, or near the end of the episode, we had the big mouth animation like the early episodes, especially with Miss Campbell. I didn't really notice that. Did you notice the bigger and smaller mouths with talking?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I brought up previously. That's what I said, like how the mouth got so enlarged
Oh,
when she spoke, April O'Neil, when she snapped her neck all the way round. That's what I found creepy, because her mouth portion disproportionate to her body. That's what creeped me out, you know.
okay. I didn't really notice that.
Hmm.
I mean, it was that one time in the 2003 show which I sort of know if I noticed it, but you see Leonardo talking and you can see, at the bottom of the screen you can see his mouth, but it's not moving.
Hmm.
Okay, when Leo says, "Let's get out of here," when the in the worldwide genome project building that is about to be destroyed, he has no swords. However, when the Turtles are out watching the building being destroyed, Leo has his swords on his back, like he never dropped them. When the Turtles first come across the Krang droid that was attacked by April, they manage to have a short conversation before the droid started attacking. But they first thought the droid was a human, and the Turtles really should have known better to be seen by humans, let alone talking around them. Yeah, I found that a bit weird with Miss Campbell. like,
Yeah, like an old lady. Like, this is the weird thing, because they're not supposed to go out in the day. They're talking around people that they shouldn't do, and I don't understand. Like, they're chill with being around humans and going out in the daytime. Like, is that a thing now? Or I kind of missed that out, you know, when they started doing that.
I just think it was more of a plot hole for this episode that they're just going to skip over as if nothing happened.
Unrealistic.
Yeah. I'm glad that that my ways have finally rubbed off on you. And the last one is when April enters the school, her ears are missing throughout the part of the scene. I did not notice that.
Me neither. Her ears are missing? What?
I mean, I guess you could just say that her hair was covering it up, I guess.
Yeah. I did not notice that.
Then again, was someone looking at her ears?
Yo, someone's got something for April's ears.
I mean, it is April. Well, April. I mean, Donnie has a thing, so I guess it's not too hard to say that someone else doesn't.
Anyways, let's move on.
Okay, so next thing is the cast. We've got Mae Whitman voicing April, Rob Paulson voice Donatello, Kelly Hu voicing Karai, Nolan North voicing Krang, Jason Biggs voicing Leonardo, Greg Seitz voicing Michelangelo, Sean Astin voicing Rav. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name wrong. Sean Astin. Astin?
Austin team?
I'm not too sure. Either way, I don't like change, so I'm not going to change my ways. We've got Phil Lamar voicing Baxter Stockman, Clancy Brown doing Dog Pound, Foot Soldiers have no voice, Justin has no voice, Miss Campbell by Cassandra Peterson. I'll look at her in a minute. We got Shredder. No, Ken Michael Richardson voicing Shredder. Hoon Lee voicing Splinter, and Zeva voicing Christian Zan voicing Zeva. I'd say for this episode had like a really big cast compared to like all the other episodes. This is like more or less like the whole all the main cast members all in one.
Yeah. Who played as Karai again?
Kelly Hu.
Kelly Hu. Hmm.
I'll quickly go over some stuff that she's been in a minute. But looking at Cassandra Peterson, she looks like someone from like I don't know, like a vampire type show. But she's born in 1951. She's 70 years old. She's an American actress, best known for her screen horror host character Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She gained fame on Los Angeles television station KHJ, wearing a black gothic revealing cleavage enhancing grown as a host. Elvira's movie Macbeth, a weekly horror movie presentation. Her weekly vampire appearance is offset by her comical character, quirky and quick-witted personality, and valley girl type speech. I never thought I'd say some of those words.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I can send you a picture of this person and you'll understand what they're talking about, but she definitely has...
Oh, Kelly Hu. I've just found her myself. Yep. That description fits her well.
I wasn't talking about her. No, I was talking about the person who plays Miss Campbell, Cassandra Peterson. And I'll send you the picture of this person.
Yeah, send me the picture.
Yeah,
I
thought like then you'd understand who I'm talking about and what I just said. Not Kelly Hu. Okay, so just quickly just sent the picture over now, and then you understand who I'm talking about. But Kelly Hu, you could just go over some stuff that she's been in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was one. That's basically. I think that's her character that she's played. Oh, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, she looks like she's just come out of the 90s, you know?
So Kelly Hu was born in 1968. She's 54 years old. She's a voice actress who was a former fashion model. She's best known for her best known roles are Rayo Man in the Surf Ninjas, Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2, Cassandra in the Scorpion King, Stacey Horano in the Phineas and Ferb, and Cheshire in the Young Justice, and Laura Hills in Hawaii 5-0. So yeah. Are you still looking at that picture?
Not anymore.
But yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this whole thing?
This episode has been very, very revealing and in-depth. Like, overall, this episode was just an awesome episode. Got to be up in my top 10. But just in general, without going too far into depth, like how different things don't add up and how different scenes don't look as if they were, it was just weird. But overall, this episode is in my top 10. Really good episode. Someone's putting their time and effort just to make the animations look cleaner and smoother, and just made a good story out of it, which some episodes in the series that I've watched so far haven't been as well put together. So I give a 10 out of 10 for this one.
Wow. I'm just quite surprised at that. I mean, I thought the episode was good, but I wouldn't give it a 10. I was sorry, like giving not like an 8 or a 9. Because I don't think none of the episodes from season 1 I would say like 10 out of 10 worthy, but this episode was definitely like a 9 or an 8. Okay, so for next week's episode is called the Pulverizer. What do you think is going to happen in that episode?
Pulverizer. Someone's either going to get pulverized, which is highly likely. Something or someone's going to get thrown into a mincer, I guess. A giant mincer machine and get minced,
Yeah.
and get pulverized. That's what I'm thinking. These are my first thoughts, alright? So I think someone's going to get pulverized, or someone is going to become a pulverizer, perhaps, or a new character called the Pulverizer. That sounds better, yeah. Someone's called the Pulverizer, and they become a new character. That would be pretty cool. The Pulverizer.
Okay, one of those theories is correct. Do you want to know which one is which, or do you want to find out next week?
I'm gonna find out next week. I wanna see if I'm right.
You're right about one of those theories.
Right.
Yeah, next week. Okay, next week's episode has the Krang in, so yay. Yeah, next week's episode is definitely it's an interesting episode to say the very least. There's some really good stuff in there for some story stuff, but most of it I feel like you're gonna hate quite a lot.
Like,
and then there's the Krang.
Okay. Do you want to know why I dislike the Krang?
I know something about doing like
so
speech
much?
or something like that.
Yeah, the only one thing that I dislike so much about the Krang is how they methodically talk. Their speech. You've got the most advanced tech, you know where everyone's gonna be. Why don't you download some Google Docs and read the English language? Download the Alexa voice, and that would be better than
that would
that.
be amazing.
I would rather listen to Alexa than to listen to your voice. That's the only damn thing that I've got about the Krang. Everything else, it's just great. Just that, Krang. And then you will be my favourite character. But you're my most disliked character so far, because you can't upgrade your damn voice. Oh.
Okay. Oh.
Right.
Wait,
I'm done.
One final question. I thought it might be an interesting one. Because I know Miss Campbell is a new character and is technically a Krang. Is she maybe a potential favourite character because she did speak a bit differently, a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. I keep saying this, but that is the only good Krang that I've actually liked. That's the only good character from the Krang that I've liked. Alright? So.
We'll give her some time. And then she'll be one of the worst.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's it for this one. But yeah, like always, if you do want to get onto the podcast, you can send in a text or a voice message in over Anchor. You can leave a message on the Reddit threads which I put up every week, or you can comment on the community tab about the episode, or you can leave a comment in the YouTube video. But yeah, this has been another episode of Talking Tales. I've been your host, Teddy.
I've been Hayden.
And we'll catch you again. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.